What is up, guys? I'm so glad you guys clicked on this video because today I have a treat for you. I actually had a subscriber reach out to me and say, hey, this is my financial situation. Can you help me figure out a plan and what should I do moving forward? So grab your popcorn, buckle up, grab a glass of wine, and get ready because it's pretty entertaining. I'm going to be going over everything that they laid out to me, their income, their expenses, their debt, how much they have and how they want to pay it off, their hardships, what they're going through, literally everything. They put it all out there and I helped them create a budget. This is a secret subscriber because they don't want to be actually on camera, which is totally fine with me because I'm still helping them out while also getting content so that you guys can see that this is a real world financial situation and it might be similar to you. People all around have these financial situations and they need help getting out of them or just want advice. I know there's people out there that are watching this video that probably have similar situations, or maybe it's a different situation, but it's the same thing. Financial stress is a burden and you don't know where to go. That's why I've been saying reach out to me and we'll figure this out. Sit back, relax. Hopefully you have a comfy seat on the couch because I'm going to dig into everything and I can't wait. Let's get into it. So this couple, we got Dawson and we got Samantha. Dawson is originally from his home state, and I'm not going to name the state because he doesn't want that disclosed, but he has a home state. Well, he recently moved up to where Samantha was. They had met through a friend of a friend. He moved up there. He thought, you know, this is a good change of life for me. He already has a house back home that he's just going to rent out. So he moves up to this other state, and through this other state, him and Samantha really get serious and they're actually dating. They're living together. Everything's going good, but this state actually has a very high cost of living compared to what he is used to. And so for them, he and her, Dawson and Samantha, believe that it will be in their best interest to move back to where he is actually from, where he actually owns a house already, which is awesome. Great. You already have a house. You bought it right during the pandemic, so he already has equity in this house. And so they just decide to move back because he has a trades job where he can basically go anywhere and get a job that pays really good. So in this situation, Dawson currently is working his trade, but he's now going to be moving states with Samantha to go back to his home state. Samantha is a real estate agent, but she's going to focus more on the social media aspect and probably get out of that real estate. She's going to go all in on social media and try to build a brand for herself. So they decide to move back. So they pack everything up. Some of the stuff's not fitting in the box truck, so they got to end up actually selling some of that stuff, which is fine because it actually helps pay a little bit for the move, and moving is expensive. But they stop on the way back on this multi-state journey with a box truck up and down these mountains. They stop. They go to a national forest, and on the way, Dawson actually proposes to Samantha, which is awesome. So now they're really getting into, hey, this is how we want to build our life. We want to be with each other forever, you know, as a couple, as one, and we already have a house. He has a job already lined up, and Samantha wants to stay at home and just work on her social media. Maybe they have kids. She can be a stay-at-home mom. All the stars are aligning perfect for them. So they get back to their house, and Dawson is actually going to draw unemployment while they're getting settled. And actually, while he's drawing unemployment, the pay is pretty similar to what he's actually going to get paid at his new job, because where he was from, he was getting paid a lot more. All of a sudden, the cost of living goes down, his wages go down, but he gets paid unemployment for the state that they came from. And so it's a significant amount more than what he would be getting paid now in his home state. So he's going to get unemployment, and I think it's actually 26 weeks. So he gets half a year basically of unemployment to where they get to have fun, live life, settle in, you know, talk about their finances, talk about their wedding, talk about their future because they just got engaged, which is amazing. So like I said, everything was going really good. Dawson one night was playing video games and he heard Samantha from the room over talking on the phone, not realizing what it was. He noticed that she was upset when he checked on her. He checked on her. She kind of was crying a little bit. He really didn't know what was happening. And so then she kind of laid it out there on him. She had to be honest. He knew she had credit card debt, but Dawson didn't know that Samantha had credit card companies and debt collectors calling her saying, you better pay or we're taking you to court, which is a really big situation, which means that it's probably a significant amount because these card companies and these debt collectors want their money. And so Samantha has to figure out a way to pay the money towards these collectors. So Dawson and Samantha are talking about it. They knew that she had credit card debt. He knew, their finances are about to become one. They're about to get married. They're engaged. And so you have to talk about finances prior to getting married. What are we going to do? Everyone, in my opinion, when you get married, you become one. You're one flesh. You are one together. And so in mine, you joint bank accounts. What my debt is her debt is my debt. And so same as income, everything comes into one. And so now that they are about to get married, Dawson is now going to have debt with Samantha that he wasn't already aware of, the total amount. And it's actually a shocking number, but the credit card that she got called about actually has a balance of $11,167. And then she has a second credit card that also has a maxed out balance of $10,000. And so altogether, Samantha has $21,167 worth of debt. Now, imagine just sitting on your couch, playing a video game, and the next thing you know, you have $21,167 worth of debt. And that's just your credit card debt. Another thing that they told me is that they have a bed debt. They have a debt that they paid out. They took a loan out on this bed and this bed frame, and they still owe about $4,500 worth of debt on that. And then they also have new windows coming on their house, and that debt is actually a total of $6,500 for the first phase of windows on their house. Now keep in mind, I was kind of shocked by that because I didn't know that windows were that expensive. I own a house. I've never had to really replace windows. And so I didn't know windows were that expensive. And that's just for the first phase. And this is going to be a 3-phase project. So I don't know what the total amount would be in all, but if it's anywhere between $18,000 to $20,000 for windows, that's kind of mind shocking to me. So yeah, they have $21,167 in debt for credit cards. They have $4,500 in debt for a bed and bed frame, and they have $6,500 in debt for new windows. That is wild. That is a lot of debt, especially for a young couple that hasn't been together very long. They're going to get married, but they're getting married straight into this debt. In debt finances, if you haven't watched my previous video, I'll put the link right here that you can click on. But debt and finances is one of the biggest reasons for divorce. And so you want to be able to straighten these things out before you actually get married. And then while you're married, be able to talk about finances, be able to talk about those decisions that you're going to make and figure out a path that you guys can be one and be successful as a team. So now we know how much debt they have. How much money do they bring in? Well, Dawson told me that their income is around $3,884 per month. So they have $3,884 per month. Their expenses total to $3,371.84. And I'm actually going to break down every single thing that they actually need, want, and their investing strategies for an ideal budget for them. And so I'm just going to break that down right here, right now. So their income is $3,884. That is what they're bringing in every single month after taxes. For their needs, which should be 50% of your overall income, they have internet, that's at $103. They have electricity, is $130. They have gas for their house at $55 per month. Their mortgage is $889.96 per month. Their utilities is $95.86. That's going to be water, trash, all that good stuff. Your auto insurance for Dawson and Samantha is $183.76. That's for 2 vehicles. They have a phone bill of $187 for both of them. Their groceries are around $400, and their gas for their vehicles is around $300. Their minimum payments for their debt is $540 because credit card number 1 minimum payment is $190. Credit card number 2 is $50. Their bed is $200 and their windows is $100, totaling up to $540. So their needs every single month are totaling to about $2,344.58, and then their debt is $540 per month. Now they also have a couple of gym memberships. They have 2 gym memberships that total to $104.74, and then they have a savings part that they contribute to every single month, which is a Roth IRA and then life insurance. The Roth IRA, they contribute $100 every single month, and it looks like they have 2 life insurances at $98.67 and $66.67. So that's a lot to take in, and I understand that was a lot of numbers to calculate, but we're gonna look at a high picture of how they can actually tackle this debt and figure out what their net income is every single month, and then create a plan to push that money towards their debt. So now we gotta look at the debt. We have all this debt from the credit card companies that we wanna knock out fast, but they only have $734 every single month that they can actually use to put towards that. What do we do? The first thing, if you have credit card debt, is you need to call those credit card companies and figure out if they will settle for a cash amount that you can pay off. Luckily, in this situation, Dawson and Samantha have about $9,500 in their checking and their savings, which is pretty good. Not quite enough to pay off a full card or either, but it is a start. And then also, when they negotiated, they already got back to me and told me they were able to negotiate down to about 60% per card. They will have to pay about $7,000 on one card and $6,000 on the other card. And so instead of having to pay $21,167 for total credit card debt, they're only going to have to pay $13,000. So they're knocking off a significant amount of money off that debt. Another thing I asked Dawson and Samantha were, do you have any other assets that are paid off completely? Vehicles, four-wheelers, all that good stuff, which in reality, they're liabilities. But do you have any assets that are sitting there that you don't use or you have extra, basically? And luckily for Dawson and Samantha, they both already have vehicles. Dawson has 2 vehicles and Samantha has 1. So I said, do you really need 3 vehicles? And he said, actually, I'm about to sell it. I want $4,000 for my truck. I told him just negotiate high, and if someone lowballs, hopefully you can counter and get a little bit more. And so if he lists it at $5,000, someone says $4,500, he says $48, and they accept. And that's actually exactly what happened. He ended up getting $4,800 extra on top of what he already had in his checking and savings. So $9,500 is what they had before. Now he gets $4,800. And so now he actually has $14,300 in his savings / checking. And so Dawson and Samantha have that $14,300, and their credit cards, they only owe $13 technically after negotiating. So the next step I told him to do is to put all that money into a high interest savings account. Basically, where they're just going to get the 4 to 5% interest every single year, which will add up on, close to $15,000. And so when they do this, now their money is building more money. These credit card companies also don't have a interest rate anymore. They're not actually accruing interest because the credit card company said, hey, if you can pay us off, if you can pay it all off, you can make minimum payments. Once you get enough to pay us off, just pay it, and we won't charge you interest. And so that's another big thing with negotiating credit cards. They were able to negotiate credit cards, get significant amount off, and now there's no interest accruing as long as they're making those minimum payments. The first credit card's $190, the second one was $50. Now they have $14,300 in their checking account. When they had the $14,300, they also have $734 per month that they can spend on whatever they want because it's their net income. Everything after their needs and everything is paid, they still have $734 left over that they can spend towards their debt. And so if they just take that money, they continue to make the monthly payments, they take that money, the $734, and they throw that into high interest savings account, they can actually knock this debt off in 9 months, completely be debt free besides their windows. Here's how it is. I'm going to read this off. So if it's in a high interest savings account, that amount will go towards the credit card. So after 6 months, they will have $4,408.48 into that account, and they would have earned an extra $110 at an APR of 5%. They also will continue to make those monthly payments, and they would have put $1,140 towards the higher card and $300 towards the second card, making those balances that they owe at $4,860 and $6,007. their total checking and saving after the interest will be $18,708.50. Plus, with Dawson and Samantha both basically being unemployed at the moment, they can do side jobs and side hustles. He works in a trade. He can do these side hustles and go make extra cash and put more on top of that. But for the scenario, let's just say they don't do that. They take all their extra income that they have and they put it in a high interest savings account along with the $14,300 they already have in it. Like I said, they'll have $18,708.50, and then their balances that they owe will only be $4,860 and $6,700. Meaning that in 6 months, if they said, I want to pay off both cards completely, they would still have $7,148 in their checking/savings accounts. Then they'll be able to take those monthly payments that they were already making on both the cards, the $190 and the $50, so the $240, and put that into their $734.08 every single month, making it $978.08 in net. Their bed frame, that's the next debt. They owe $4,500 on that. They're actually going to sell the frame part, keep the bed. They're going to sell the frame, and the frame is worth $2,000. So if they sell that frame, now they only owe $2,500 on the bed. And like I said, you have $974.08 in net every single month, meaning that in the next 3 months, following the credit card payments that you paid off, they will have the frame and the bed paid off as well. So they can go from $25,667 in debt to zero besides their project on the windows in less than 9 months, which is amazing. It's insane. Plus, you got to think now they have over $1,000 in free net cash flow that they can pay for the windows. And so, like I said before, the windows are $6,500. They have over $1,000. Plus, they're already making a $100 payment. So after 1 year of a $100 payment, they would be sitting at having already paid $1,200. And so they would only owe $5,300. Now you have $1,000 freed up that you can put towards those windows, and your project one would be completely done in another 5 months. That is the power of getting out of debt. Now you can snowball all that extra cash, all that extra free net positive money that you get every single month, and you can put that towards that debt. You can snowball it to the next debt when that debt's paid off, and it just continues to compound and goes faster and faster and faster. And that's why you see people get out of debt, $30,000, $40,000 in debt in 1 single year. Seems impossible, but once you actually do the math, it's really, really easy and simple. You just have to stick to the plan, create a goal, and the outcome will come if you're dedicated enough and accountable enough to follow it. Now, I know that was a lot of numbers, and I know it was probably confusing. Also, you can grab a pen and paper, do it yourself, and then maybe put your numbers that you have in your finances to that same exact calculation, and maybe you can get out of debt in something. I don't know. But I just want to say thank you guys. Like, subscribe, comment down below what you think of this situation, and if you have debt like that, how you would do it. Or maybe tell me how you would have solved their debt situation to get them to become financially free. I don't know. That's up to you guys. But remember, you can do all things through him that give you strength. Peace.